What was your thought process, Danny, behind trading the 12th overall selection and the Jet Luchenko pick?
Um, you know, what happens is there's a lot of information, that you're gathering. Not just me, but our staff. All the teams do that. Um, you know, we didn't want to move too far back because Jet was our guy that we wanted. Um, we had the feeling when we saw the board, the way it was coming down, we had a feeling that we could move back a little bit. We explored different option. That was the only one that really was safe enough and gave us a chance to, acquire more draft capital. But we were very careful to not move too far back because we really wanted Jet.
Danny, when we spoke with you last week, you mentioned about, not necessarily you're going to reach on a center, but that you guys did want to address the center position. Did that play a major role in this pick? And also, are you confident that Luchenko can stick in the middle long term?
Absolutely. He's a center. The way he plays, the way he works, the way he is a complete player, first of all. Very young still, played on an OHL team, and what he did and how he got better and better as the season went on. We feel that, yes, he's a center, absolutely, and we feel he's just starting to tap his potential. Really excited about having a chance to get him. There's other good players in that area also that we were considering, but there wasn't a big enough difference to go in a different direction, and taking a center was an important piece for us there.
Danny, there was a lot of
Sorry?
There was a lot of speculation that you guys were aggressively trying to trade up, and it was something
Yeah.
you were exploring.
Absolutely,
how
we
tough
were.
Yeah, how tough did you try? Was anything close to happening?
There's some traction to move up. Probably not what you're thinking. I know there's some rumors about fourth and fifth pick. Yeah, I don't think those were ever serious, but there was other teams that we were talking about moving up. It has to make sense for both sides. It has to be something that worked for both teams. And as we got closer, I think the board started to go sideways a little bit on what teams were thinking after 5, and the teams were just not comfortable anymore moving their picks. So it kind of went on, and Jet was the next guy on our list.
Columbus has already made it known that they're going to select the 36 this year. Did that uncertainty at all influence, if anything, or cross your mind with trading 32 to next year to get that next
No,
pick?
what did you say? They're going to pick? That's what they said?
That's what the report is, that they're going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we assumed that they were going to pick. But no, I mean, I think the chance, what we feel is, having the chance to move the pick till next year in a strong draft, and also the chance that maybe that pick is, a little earlier. That's the risk on their end as well. Could be 32, who knows, the way they played this year. But we felt it was worth the risk to move it the next year, and we can still keep talking about the Giroux trade for a little longer.
This
What
is the
were
first
the-
we're
what were
talking
the
to you
conditions?
since the Mishkov news came out. Where do things stand with him in terms of entry-level contract and maybe him at development camp? Or where do things stand with Matt Vieira?
I don't know how much I'm allowed to say at this point, but I think it's looking very good about the contract. As far as development camp, I don't think that's a possibility. Just there's a lot of logistics that have to go in, just immigration, visa, all that stuff. So I don't have a timeline as far as when we expect him in Philadelphia, but it's looking good. It's moving in the right direction.
And you brought out Cam Atkinson this morning. Maybe just your thoughts on Cam's career with the Flyers, and also maybe why.
Yeah, Cam was a total pro the whole time. I told him, and I know it's tough probably for him to hear that, but he's always going to be a Flyer. He's always going to be welcome back. He helped the culture when we started turning things around, and we owe him a lot for that. Unfortunately, with the arrival of Matvey, and the cap crunch that we're in. You know, it was a decision that unfortunately needed to be made. It's a business decision. Everybody loves Cam. He's been a great warrior for our team for the last couple of years. We wish it could have been different, but that was the best option, unfortunately, at this point.
Who came up with the Michael Buffer idea?
I'm not too sure. I was told that it was a possibility, and we all got excited. I think he did a fantastic job. It was stole the show there for a little bit. That was really cool to be on stage to see that, and I didn't know he was Philly native. I learned about that, which is it's pretty cool.
What about being a French Canadian and seeing Celine on stage?
Yeah, I got stoked about that too. It was awesome to see her and come like that. Yeah, I was impressed. I didn't see that coming. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that, but great job by Montreal to bring her on stage.
What do you make of this draft and having the Vegas flair to it? Just that there was that. I'm not been to a draft that has this local flair like this.
It was cool, like sitting, and it was different. The stadium, you know, the TV over your head. I thought it was fantastic. They did a great job. It was a great experience to be a part of.
You mentioned about
when you talked about the draft and you talked about trading that 12th overall pick, you said there was other teams that backed out. Are you able to tell us those teams that maybe?
I can't just by respect for those teams. But it's your job,
Yep.
and it's their job to kind of look what's out there. There was definitely traction for with a few of them, at least two that I thought we were going in the right direction, and then again, the board kind of went sideways a little bit, and guys saw, we have our players that we really want, so they weren't willing to move their pick. So we just kept going.
You mentioned that you think that Luchenko is just scratching the surface. I'm assuming you view him as a guy with extremely high upside. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why do you see him as a guy that maybe has top of the lineup upside?
First of all, his work ethic. If you watch him play, he's always one of the hardest worker, both sides of the ice. His vision, his hockey sense are high end. There's obviously some things that will work with him to develop and increase, but to have a guys understand already both sides of the ice the way he does, and then you look the way he played it. It was a team that just barely made the playoffs. I think in Guelph, he was the motor for that team. If you watch him play, he drove the play. He was a play driver, so that's really exciting for us.
How much did the under 18s play into the decision? You were there, and
Yeah.
he had a really strong performance there.
Yeah, we didn't want him to play too well. We were trying to keep him hidden. Our guys were really high on him really early in the season, and he just kept getting better and better, and you saw his stock just kept increasing. So we were not too excited about that, the fact that he kept climbing up, because at first early in the season we thought he could have been a later pick for us, our second pick in the first round, but in the second half of the year, clearly just hearing all the other teams talk about it, I got in trouble by a few teams already giving me crap for taking him ahead of a few of them.
What's kind of the process now for day two? What's kind of the thought process going into day two now?
On day two, well, the first one was trying to figure out Columbus's decision, but for us, we still have a lot of picks, some really important picks at second and third round, 51 and 77 will come quick. I don't know, we have a center, so there's not really a reason to chase that. I think we can really settle back and see how the board falls, and really again take the best player available.
How do you see Luchenko as the guy to play with Mitchkov moving forward? Is he that?
No, I wouldn't say that yet. I mean, it's too early. Who knows what? We got to give those guys time. I mean, development is the key. There's a long ways to go Jet has 2 more years of juniors at least, so I don't want to get ahead too much. There's so many things that can happen before he's there, and Matvey has to play as well and develop the right way.
How important was the speed factor in the Luchenko selection, especially as the game on the ice in the NHL just continues to get faster and faster?
That's a really good question. That's another asset that I didn't even mention that he has. He's a great skater, smooth skater. I think he's the type of player that's going to be able to log heavy minutes because of his skating, and the fact, if you look at it, his conditioning is already fairly impressive. So I think it sets up really well for it.
The big name on the board, obviously, it's the player that Minnesota traded up to get was Steve Bouillon that you guys decided not to go for. I'm curious, you and Keith Jones have mentioned in the past about the idea of you want size on the blue line. You guys already have Cam and Jamie. Does the fact that Steve isn't the biggest guy, did that play into maybe why he wasn't high on your board?
Well, when you look at our defense, I mean, you have it right. I mean, I think Zev Bouillon is going to be a great player and someone that we considered strongly. But with Cam York, with Jamie Drysdale, with Emile Andre, it's at some point it gets tough to go with the smaller guy. But he's a fantastic player.
Thanks, Dan.
Today